we need to talk about Rodrigo. The situation is getting a little bit weird right now at Real Madrid. In the Club World Cup, Rodrigo has only started one game, which was the first game against Al Hilal. He got the assist to Gonzalo Garcia in the game. He was on the bench against Pachuca, 25 minutes against RB Salzburg, on the bench against Juventus, and he got 5 minutes last night against Dortmund off the bench. Basically garbage time. Hey, Rodrigo, go get some workouts, get a little run out there, and see if you're up to speed with the game. Rodrigo needs a move. I don't think there's any doubt about that because he's frustrated. And I'm sure he's thinking about the World Cup next year, where Brazil have already qualified to the World Cup, and he's got to be an integral part of Carlo Ancelotti's team. We know Brazil are not the phenomenal team that they should be at the moment. Rodrigo right now is a bench player for Brazil. You have Vini, you have Matheus Cunha, you have Estevao, you have Rafinha, you have so many top-level forwards right now for Brazil that Rodrigo is just going to be a bench player for Carlo. And all of the signs started to begin with Rodrigo's time at Real Madrid maybe coming to an end was the El Clasico in May or April. I think it was May, if I'm not mistaken, where Barcelona won that crazy game, where he didn't even feature. He didn't come off the bench. And that was under Carlo. And Carlo has given Rodrigo a lot of opportunities at Real Madrid, whether it's in the center forward role, right wing, left wing. Rodrigo is a talented player, able to defeat a defender in one-on-one situations, good combination play, very fearless with the ball, great dribbling. But he just hasn't had the amount of opportunities that he's warranted. With the amount of talent he has to get limited opportunities last season. The breakthrough season really for him was 23-24 season, but that was in a center forward role, basically playing in a 4-3-1-2 alongside Vinicius Jr., where Rodrigo would receive the ball out wide on the right, where then Bellingham would be making those runs into the box as like a false nine sort of player. Since that good season in 23-24, he's gotten limited opportunities. And I think it's going to diminish more and more after the signing of Mbappe. Mbappe's taking the center forward role. Vini will always have that left wing position on lock because he is the guy for Real Madrid. Whether people want to admit it or not, Vini will always stay at Real Madrid for the foreseeable future. So what then for Rodrigo? And then you're looking at how he's being utilized under Xabi. And it's only been 5 games, so it's very hard to call whether he is going to be an influential part of Xabi Alonso's team. Rodrigo is just sitting on the bench. Arda Güler has found a wonderful role with Xabi Alonso. Bellingham, Valverde, they're all finding those pockets of space down the right side. Also Trent. So Rodrigo is just a shadow right now on the bench and just keeping it warm. He's the water bottle guy at the moment. And that's not what Rodrigo should be. He should be a starter for any team in this world. That's how talented and how good Rodrigo is, but he needs to be trusted, I think. And Xabi Alonso has made some comments recently saying, I'm sure Rodrigo can return to his best form. I spoke with him. He's positive, eager, and ready when needed. You know what that sounds like, people? It just sounds like we could use him, but not really. He's a good player. He can come off the bench and make an impact, but Rodrigo needs to be aspiring for more, especially heading into a World Cup year. And that's going to be a big talking point for a lot of players this season when making moves is, are you in the final 23-man squad for the World Cup next year? If you're not, you need to make a move. You need to make an impact. You need to show your national team manager, I should be selected. I should be starting for my national team at the World Cup. And Rodrigo right now is in that situation. And with the limited opportunities right now under Xabi Alonso, I think his time is coming to an end. And obviously, there is no final decision. There's not been any discussion about, okay, we are going to sell him. It's going to be finalized. Okay, he's going to go here or there or maybe there. There's none of that discussion yet. I'm just wanting to talk about Rodrigo and the situation because I think a lot of people rate Rodrigo. And people might agree with this. The guy hasn't been given opportunities. And if you're not given opportunities, and of course, it's very difficult to break through at Real Madrid. But then in Real Madrid, they still got Gonzalo Garcia at the center forward role. They got Endrick, and Endrick is a different discussion. Then you got Mastantuono, who's coming in August. How does Rodrigo fit into all of this? Clearly, Xabi Alonso wants to play with the left wing, a striker, and then sort of positional changes on that right side, whether it's then Bellingham or Valverde or Trent, like I discussed about. So Rodrigo doesn't really fit into it, and I'm sure he wants to play on that left wing. That's where he thrives the most. Even though he did a very good job in that 23-24 season playing that 4-3-1-2 role, I just think his game and his style of play just suits perfectly on the left wing. Now, Xabi Alonso is probably like, okay, we're going to talk about it after the Club World Cup, and I'm sure then they're going to get some bids, and maybe Rodrigo will vent his frustration about the lack of minutes at the moment. And I don't think you can criticize Xabi Alonso with the way he's treating Rodrigo. He just says, okay, you're not going to fit into my plans. Do I really need to play you? We saw what you did against Al Hilal. You had a decent performance. You're just not going to be that guy for us. So I think for both parties, for Rodrygo and Real Madrid, it's time to move on. And if you look at the history of Real Madrid in the last couple of years, they haven't had a really big sale. Obviously, there's Casemiro going to Manchester United. There's Varane going to Manchester United. Otherwise, Benzema leaving on a free, other players leaving on a free like Modric right now. They haven't had a big sale for a long time. Probably like Di Maria when he went to Manchester United. What was that, like 75 million, somewhere around there? That's probably been like the last big transfer. Or Cristiano going to Juventus. Maybe Florentino Perez is seeing an opportunity to cash in on the talent that Rodrygo is. He can go to another club and flourish even more. So maybe it's best for both parties. Hey, you've given us very good moments. You had that epic comeback against Manchester City back in 2022. Rodrygo, you deserve better. Let's move on. So if Rodrygo wants to move on and Real Madrid see it as the time to move on, where is he going to go? And how much is it going to cost? Let's play this game. I think it's going to cost about 80 to 100 million for Rodrygo to go to another club. There's a couple clubs, and specifically two clubs I want to talk about where Rodrygo could go to. And I'm not ITK, I'm not in the know or whatever that buzzword is nowadays when it comes to transfer rumors. I'm just giving you my thoughts where he could flourish the most. Number one for me, and this club desperately needs to sign him, is Bayern Munich. We just saw what happened to Musiala, and prayers to Musiala. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. It's only 4 to 5 months, the recovery time, but the implications of that injury could hamper his career more. Well, time will tell, but speedy recovery, Musiala. Bayern Munich got to sign this guy. They tried to go for Luis Diaz. Liverpool don't want to sell him. Rafael Leao is too loyal to AC Milan. I don't know why. Rafael Leao, it's a sinking ship, Milan. Love the club, but Leao deserves better. But I don't think he wants to go to Bayern Munich. So why don't you go for Rodrygo if you're Bayern Munich? Look, they want to give Voldemort. Oh, I love Voldemort. Unbelievable talent. Is that the number one player that Bayern Munich should be signing? Is Voldemort? No, it should not be. It should be Rodrygo. Rodrygo would instantly start for Bayern Munich. Coman is just a frustrating player. He's super talented, but he's always injured. Always injured. Gnabry in 2025, people. Really? 2025? That's like rating a Nokia phone in 2025. Rodrygo, sign him for 80 to 85 million. Maybe Bayern Munich can get a nice sweet deal from Florentino Perez because they've given Toni Kroos and other players Alaba on a free as well. Florentino Perez is like, okay, we'll give you a discount deal, Bayern Munich. Here's 80 million to 85 million for Rodrygo. You want to take him? And if I'm Bayern Munich, you take the call, you dial it immediately. 5 seconds in, you say, we're signing him. How much? PayPal account? Done. Right there. Now, if Bayern Munich can get Rodrygo, that is it. That is a signing that can be wonderful. For me, it's so reminiscent when Real Madrid signed Arjen Robben. Arjen Robben was a sort of outcast at Real Madrid. He was obviously dealing with a lot of injuries. Bayern Munich then took a chance on Arjen Robben. And as they say, the rest is history with Robben and Bayern Munich. The amount of memories he created, the amount of trophies he won with Bayern Munich, winning goals in cup finals to Champions League final. This could be a similar signing for Bayern Munich, getting a player like Rodrygo, who's an outcast right now at Real Madrid, bring him to Germany, and he would cook. Harry Kane, Olise, Rodrygo, and when Musiala gets fit, those four, that is one of the best attacks in Europe. Easily. Because Olise is going to get better and better. Harry Kane, we know, is a world-class striker. Musiala is a world-class creative midfielder. And if they get Voldemort can play in the 10 role. I mean, Bayern Munich should be all over this deal. Now, maybe they're going to wait. Obviously, they're out of the Club World Cup right now. I think they have like a 2 to 3 week break until they start their preseason ahead of the new Bundesliga season. I think if Bayern Munich can get Rodrygo, that's where you say to yourself, if you're a Bayern Munich fan, okay, I recognize my club. We're still one of the big dogs around Europe. We can go toe-to-toe against the best teams because I think Kompany has done a good job, but his players are failing him. I think they played a very good game against PSG. They did very well in the Champions League, being hampered by so many injuries, but they need somebody on that left-wing position to solidify it. Coman couldn't do it. Sané is gone, of course. Gnabry, not anymore in the year 2025. Get Rodrygo, and Bayern Munich will be a dangerous team ahead of the next season if they can get a player like Rodrygo. He would sell shirts. It would be very good marketing for Bayern Munich, and they have a good history with Brazilian players. Like Dante to Luis Gustavo, they have a good history with Brazilian players. Then obviously the other club would be Arsenal. Arsenal are right now in discussions with Noni Madueke.
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't know how to feel about that signing. Maybe that's a video for another day. If you're Arsenal, you get Rodrygo. Instant starter. Instant starter. He can play on the left wing position. Rodrigo doesn't even have to worry about playing on the right wing. Saka is there. You don't have to worry about playing in the center forward role because whether it's Havertz or if Arsenal sign a striker like Gyökeres or Šeško, Rodrigo, the left wing position is all yours. Take it. All the keys are right there. Take the Nissan Micra and drive with it, or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Because Martinelli is just too inconsistent with his play. And for Arsenal to win the Premier League, win the Champions League, they need a consistent performer on that left wing position, and that is Rodrygo. Martinelli can be a very good super sub. He can rotate sometimes with Rodrygo in that starting position. I just think Rodrygo would fit perfectly to Arsenal. But the problem is, okay, if Arsenal sign Madueke, they still need to sign a striker. They're still linked with Eze. Do they have the funds to still go for Rodrigo? Or would Madueke just be their left-wing option? Or would Eze be their left-wing option? That's for Arsenal fans to discuss. But I think if you're an Arsenal fan, you got to go for Rodrigo. I think Rodrigo would suit the Premier League. Yes, you can talk about physical. Oh, is he Prem? The Prem-proven word needs to be obliterated from the dictionary. This is the most egregious and diabolical word I've ever heard in football. Prem-proven. I don't need to see Prem-proven player for KDB or Haaland or other players. Was also Prem-proven. Oh, no, he wasn't. Oh, no, he was just balling out with Real Madrid. Doesn't matter if Rodrygo is not Prem-proven. He would go to Arsenal and be one of the best left wingers in the Premier League. Easily. I think if you're Arsenal, getting a player like Rodrygo, that would send a massive confidence boost to the fan base, to the players, and saying, okay, we're serious now, right now. We've seen what Liverpool have been doing with their signings. We've seen Manchester City, what they've been doing with their signings. If we can get a player like Rodrigo and Zubamendi and Eze, or then also get a Gyökeres and Šeško, okay? Arsenal are very confident in the signing of Rodrigo then. But those are just discussions. You could say other clubs out there, maybe like a Liverpool, if they sell Luis Diaz. I don't know, maybe Manchester City, but Manchester City have so many forwards right now. You got Doku, Marmoush on the left side. I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, in a crazy world, it would be Barcelona, but we know that ain't going to happen. Come on, people. That's not going to happen one bit. But overall, I think for Rodrigo, the best thing for his career is to just move on from Real Madrid. You had many highlight moments with them, but at a time in your career where it's very critical. You're still a young player. You're about to enter your prime years, but you need to play every single week. You need to get confidence from the manager you're going to go to or you're playing under to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to start every week. Because that's the sort of talent that Rodrygo is. And when he's on it, very dangerous player. Very dangerous player. Yes, in the maybe last season you could say inconsistent performances when he was called upon. But I just think he wasn't really trusted by Carlo in the last season. And now with Xabi Alonso, it looks like he's not going to be trusted at all. So I think for Rodrygo's career, and if you want to play at that World Cup next year, you got to move. You have to move with Rodrygo. Now, where he goes, time will tell, and we'll obviously have to see after the Club World Cup. I'm sure then the dialogue and the discussion about Rodrygo will move very rapidly about him leaving. And I think for Real Madrid, just cash in. You got a lot of good moments with Rodrygo. You signed it for like, what, 45 million? Okay, getting in 80 to 85 million. It's a good deal. He's basically a bench player right now, and other teams around Europe could utilize him better than what Real Madrid are doing right now. So my prediction is I think Bayern Munich are going to sign him in the next couple weeks. I think it's going to be small little talks, and then it will intensify, and then we'll see Ornstein and Fabrizio and what is that other guy's name? Pletigol, or whatever his name is. They'll ramp up the idea of Rodrygo going to Bayern Munich, and then it will eventually happen. And I think that will be very good for Bayern Munich and a good deal for Real Madrid. Let me know your thoughts though, people. What should Rodrygo do? Should he force to move away from Real Madrid? And which club should he go to? Or should he stay at Real Madrid and just kind of be a bench player and when called upon, perform? Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around. Remember to follow me on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, join the Discord, all those links, description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.